There is no question as to what the top story has been over the last couple of weeks, and that is the limited release of some documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. And I hate to say it, but this was a big, gigantic nothing burger. It was just enough ankle to satiate those in the public or in government who have been demanding to know who Epstein's clients were. Specifically, people have wanted to see the flight logs of powerful people who have flown on Epstein's jet or the list of guests to his infamous home in the Virgin Islands. Well, that's not what we got. As you'll see, that was intentional. The documents released included emails, texts, depositions, and other materials. But the majority of what the public and conservative media have emphasized comes from a transcript of a videotaped deposition of Virginia Giuffre, a woman who was allegedly a victim of Epstein's sex crimes. There's notable names mentioned in these documents, but none, I repeat, none of the mentions, none of them incriminate anyone or provide any evidence of actual sex crimes. Even with Bill Clinton's name being mentioned 50 plus times and allusions to his attraction to, quote, young girls, doesn't accomplish anything. Yes, testimony is valid evidence in a trial, but juries are expected to make their conclusions beyond a reasonable doubt. So this document dump was meaningless, and it will lead to nothing. So I'm not going to waste any of your time talking about all the names mentioned in these depositions. However, there is apparently more coming on January 22nd. And one of these victims has alleged to possess security camera footage from this infamous Epstein Island house. If we see any of that, then we can talk about progress. But what even is the point of all this, and what actually happened with Epstein? Mike Cernovich has a theory. He says this: in 2017, my lawyer, Mark Randazza, found a wonky freedom of the press case. There was a defamation case, and although Jeffrey Epstein wasn't named as a defendant, the case was central to some, quote, conspiracy theories. Mark, his lawyer, asked me if I wanted to file a motion to intervene. We expected it to be a simple matter. Media interest was almost zero. No one in the free press cared. Then President Trump, nominated Alexander Acosta to the Secretary of Labor. Acosta had handled the original Epstein criminal case and said Epstein was given kid gloves treatments due to protection from the intelligence community. Epstein was an asset of the FBI. What his exact relation was remains sealed. This is a theory of high probability because Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, currently serving time behind bars, was the daughter of sort of like an international spy, an intelligence figure that was serving the intelligence for multiple countries around the world. Cernovich is purporting Epstein was also an intelligence asset, but for American intelligence and who knows who else. By 2019, the case I sought to intervene in had an orange man bad angle because Acosta was Trump's labor secretary. Even if the motives were impure, at least we were on to the races. Hundreds of thousands of dollars later, a trip to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, and a lot of fighting, we had a batch of documents ready to be unsealed. And you have to understand, this is because of Epstein's high-profile relationships. He was a financier and likely a lot more for some seriously powerful politicians, world leaders, business tycoons, etc., like presidents of the United States. Therefore, the details surrounding his case would logically be confidential. So Cernovich and his team were fighting to get this information out to the public, as the public desired and as freedom of the press implies. And then this happened. The weekend before the documents were made public, the Southern District of New York arrested Epstein quietly when he landed his private jet on an airport from a trip he took in France. No perp walk for Epstein. So after his arrest, and after a press conference was held regarding his arrest, Cernovich wrote this back in 2019. In a widely publicized press conference, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York announced sex trafficking charges against Jeff Epstein. Epstein was charged for paying minors for massages from 2002 to 2005. Yet what was more newsworthy was what the indictment left out. The indictment against Epstein does not charge anyone except Epstein. And there's nothing to indicate that anyone who flew to Epstein's private island has faced scrutiny. Only Epstein was arrested and charged. But the point is, this happened right as a federal court was about to unseal all these records. The Southern District of New York could have charged Epstein in 2002, 2003, 2004, or at any time until today. Yet they did not file charges until the Second Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that previously sealed records involving Jeff Epstein would become public record. Thus, they are charging him without implicating anyone else who assisted with his operation. And everyone knows what happened next. Epstein got Epsteined. He allegedly committed suicide in his jail cell. And after this, a safe goes missing from Epstein's home. This is what Mike Cernovich says about that. Evidence from Jeffrey Epstein's safe, quote, went missing after an FBI raid. What was in the safe? We'll never know for certain. We do know that the FBI has Jeffrey Epstein's blackmail files. The real Jeffrey Epstein files are the blackmail material. Very powerful forces have made sure we will never see it. So we're just now starting to see a drop of water in what is a torrent of information on this mysterious criminal. We'll see if any of the recent rumors develop. One of the best ways you can help our show, other than by sharing the content, is by picking up some We the Free merch at wethefreeshow.com. You can be the salt and light you were meant to be by wearing the Salt and Light shirt, or by sipping your coffee from the Salt and Light mug, or you can sport the God Bless America shirt, and of course, the classic We the Free crest tee. We've even got stickers and a Smells Like Freedom candle. That's right. So check out our new merch at wethefreeshow.com.